Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Recently I've been talking quite a bit about overconsumption, but I thought it might be a good idea if I did a video on some things that I do to underconsume, and hopefully it gives you some ideas. Now, I'm not saying you have to do all of these, I'm just saying this is the stuff that I do, might give you some ideas, and I mean, chances are you're probably doing some of these already. So let's get started. The first one I'm going to show you is when it comes to makeup. So I try my best to use as much as I can from the tube. And I want to give you an example of my eyebrow pencil. That's the teeny little pencil. I've sharpened it so much. It's still got a bit to go, but the 20s Raki would have probably thrown this away. This still got quite a bit to go. I will sharpen it until I possibly can't anymore. Although I quite like the little brush that comes, so I might actually take that off and put it on a new one when I get that. But yeah, really use everything you possibly can use. When you get or when I get makeup, it comes in the squeezy bottles, and some of the glass ones. Squeezy ones, obviously you squeeze out as much as you can. The bottles are a bit more difficult because you can't squeeze the glass bottles. What I tend to use is I just put a brush in it, quite a thin brush, and I just scoop as much as I possibly can. I really want to get my money's worth out of it. So use as much as you possibly can use until it's completely gone. So another one for makeup is that I use makeup brushes instead of sponges. Now, I did for a while use sponges, but one day I think I just overused it, and I could see it was a little bit of a tear in the latex, and I noticed some black dots in it, and I didn't realise that you can actually get mold. Doesn't matter how often you wash it, or how regularly you wash it, you still get black mold. And the thought of putting black mold on my face was definitely no. And then I thought about it a bit more and thought, if I throw this out, it can't even be recycled. It's just end up going to be going into landfill or an incinerator. So, which is why I only ever use brushes. These can be washed as often as I think you're supposed to wash them quite regularly anyway, which I do. Well, I don't, my daughter does. But I use it, and if you look after your makeup brushes, you get good quality ones and you look after them for a long time, they can last a long time as well. So I only ever use makeup brushes. So I only have one bottle of perfume. I don't have 5, 6, 7, 10 different scents. I have one. I don't even use it that often. So this is probably been going for quite a long time now. I won't buy new perfume until this is actually finished. But yeah, I mean, plus it saves me money because I'm not buying loads of different scents. I love the Jimmy Choo one. I love the smell of it, so that's what I'll stick to. Another one for underconsumption is wearing odd socks. Now, I've been wearing odd socks for years now. There's two reasons. Firstly, when you get a pair of socks and one has got a hole in it or it can't be repaired, both of them end up going in the bin, and which I think is quite a waste, because the other one still functions fine. It still does what it's supposed to do. So which is why I started wearing odd socks. I've worn them probably about, I don't know, probably about 10 years now, coming up to. And sometimes you get people commenting, and I was like, I don't mind, I do it for the environment, because I think it's unnecessary that the good sock goes to landfill, ends up getting incinerated. Plus it saves you money as well, because you're not replacing the socks as often because you've still got the other ones. So if you like being a bit different, that's probably a good one for you. So this is one I've done for quite a few years now, and it's not buying paper kitchen towels. Now, I first found out that paper kitchen towels can't actually be recycled because the fibres are so small, so they obviously end up in landfill or end up being incinerated. So what I started doing is whenever I get these hand towels, we obviously use these in the kitchen, and once they get a little bit grubby, we think we don't like that. Here's a great tip: just cut them into quarters and then just sew up the edges. I got my mum to sew the edges up. And basically what I do is I've got a pile of them and I put them by the sink. So every time I need to wipe a surface or clean a surface, I grab one of those, do what I need to do, put it in like a little basket I've got on the side of the sink. And then when it comes to washing the towels, I put them in with the towels, dry them, fold them up, rinse and repeat. And it saves quite a bit of money. I can't remember last time I bought kitchen towel. I mean, moved into this house in November 22. I definitely haven't had kitchen towels in this house. You know, I think it's been quite a while. So, and it, you know, obviously every penny counts, especially as we're in a cost of living crisis. So that's a really, really good tip. And obviously that's a great thing for underconsumption, plus it saves you money too. So this one is about a toaster I was given in 2005 when I moved house. I've always wanted, growing up, we always had a 2-slice toaster back in the 80s and 90s. And I just, whenever I wanted 4 slices of toast, I had to wait for it. So when I became an adult, I always wanted a 4-slice toaster, and I got one. It was a Tefal one, and it was a housewarming gift in 2005. I've still got it. And it still does what I want it to do. And I think it's about looking after the item. The fact that that toaster has been going on for, what, 20 years now, and it's still, there's nothing wrong with it. Obviously, you've got to look after it and clean it and everything like that. When it comes to electrical stuff, it's about looking after it and the care that you need to make sure that it's not, you know, electrical items need TLC. They don't just keep working and working. So yeah, so that's something that I've got, because I've looked after my toaster 20 years. That's incredible. So you would have seen from previous videos and previous shorts that I've posted that I absolutely love buying books secondhand. Absolutely love it. And one of the things I love about it is that the product has already been produced. All the, you know, all the energy, all the water, everything that was used to create that product has, you know, it's already been used. So when you buy it secondhand, there's no additional resources that's been used. I like buying stuff secondhand. I buy a lot of clothes secondhand as well. I buy jeans secondhand. But like, for example, I managed to get all the Robert Galbraith books. I absolutely love these books, and I managed to get them all bar one secondhand. I'm still looking for the last one. And I just absolutely, plus it's a fraction of the cost. So I'm reading something that I absolutely enjoy. I'm buying it at a fraction of the cost, and there's no extra resources that's been used to create the product, because the product's already there. So buying secondhand, I absolutely love it. So I wanted to talk about clothes. Now, clothes, when it comes to being environmentally friendly and overconsumption, clothes is quite at the top, will be at the top of the list. It's about re-wearing what you already have, and obviously that's going to save you money as well. So for example, I've got a dress that I bought, I don't know, I think it was back in 2018, I think it was, a red dress, and I wore for my brother-in-law's wedding. I wore that again for my brother's wedding, and then again for my other brother-in-law's wedding. Now, everybody, there's going to be quite a few people at the wedding that would probably recognise the dress, probably not so much, because, I mean, I'm not part of the wedding party, so why would anybody be concentrating on me? They wouldn't be. There seems to be this stigma about not wearing the same outfit twice to a wedding, or more than once to a wedding, just in case somebody remembers it. I'll be honest, most people probably won't remember it. And, you know, it saves you money if you just rewear what you have. And I think this is a great way to save money, and it's better for the environment as well. I mean, I think I've got a hoodie, a Levi's hoodie that I bought. It was either the late 90s, early noughties, and I've still got it. You know, I don't wear it all the time because I've got loads of other sweats, jumpers as well. But just, you know, think about what you've got, and if you buy stuff that's good quality, and you look after them well, and you obviously wash them well and follow the washing instructions, they will last a long time. And if somebody else has seen it, you know, does it really matter? I mean, what you might notice if you've gone through my other videos, there's a very good chance you've seen this t-shirt quite a few times. And it doesn't bother me because, you know what, I love this t-shirt, and I've got quite a few t-shirts that I wear sort of like every week. But you know, that's fine. I personally don't buy stuff to follow a trend, although I have been bitten by that before, as you'll probably see in a previous video. I buy stuff that is, you know, I like, it brings me joy. And I don't have to worry about, you know, what kind of fashion trend I need to follow. As long as my clothes, you know, do what they want to do and they're not falling apart, obviously that comes down to looking after them, then you're good. So I've got a pair of slippers that were given to me for Christmas quite a few years ago, and I still wear them, and they are falling apart. It's really, really ratty. There's bits of the lining that's, you know, ripped and stuff like that, but I will continue to wear them until there's a hole in the sole, because I just don't, all the time they have a function, I won't throw it away. You know, I've seen, or I used to know somebody who would buy, for example, a pair of trainers, and the moment they're a little bit scuffed, he would throw them away. And it's so wasteful. So these slippers, I reckon they probably got about another year left, and I think I'm probably being a bit generous. But only once they've got a hole in the sole, well, now I can't do anything about that, then I'll probably have to discard them. But where I haven't bought a new pair of slippers, you know, I'm saving money as well. So I wear stuff in, and it drives my other half crazy, but he gets why I do it. Okay, so something I would have done in my 20s, I've stopped doing now. So I bought this backpack. I'll take this backpack with me everywhere I go. It's got my purse, my phone, and everything like that. And it's ripped. The lining is ripped on the inside. And sometimes when I close the zip, sometimes it gets caught, and it's a little bit frustrating. But me in my 20s, I probably would have just thrown it away. And bear in mind, when you throw something out, there's no out, it goes somewhere. But now I won't throw it away. I'll get it repaired. I'll probably get my mum to repair it for me when she comes to visit. She's really good with needle and thread. So, you know, obviously that means that it'll last a lot longer. I used to have a bag before this. It was a bag, I think it was given to me for Christmas one year, platform 9 3/4 one. And I had it for quite a few years, and there was holes in the bottom, and the button had gone missing and everything like that, but it was still doing what I needed it to do. It looked really, really tatty, but it didn't bother me. The only time when I had to replace it was, I think the strap would no, I just couldn't repair the strap anymore. So I was like, okay, I'll bite the bullet. And I think I've still got it because I just didn't have the heart to throw it away because I'd had it for so long. Plus it's not on platform 9 3/4 one. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. So as I said before, I wear things in, and if something is doesn't look quite right, or it's ripped or something like that, I'll try and repair it myself. I'm not great, or I'll get my mum to do it for me. So something I wanted to touch on very quickly is tech. We are encouraged to buy the latest phone, for example. Now, back in the day when mobile phones first started coming out and they started becoming popular, we used to get models where we could like change the battery and things like that. And obviously our phones would last longer, and they, when you charge them, they would last a lot longer. But you know, for example, there are so many phone companies that really release a new model and it does this and it does that and it does all of these things. All I want it to do is be able to make and receive phone calls, make them send messages, receive messages, go on the internet, and just do the basic stuff I need to do. So this phone is one that my brother, it's an iPhone. Don't ask me what kind of iPhone it is. It's just an iPhone. And my brother, it used to be my brother's. It's got a crack on the screen, but it still does what I need it to do. I can still make calls. I can still use the screen and everything like that. I'm not fussed about getting the latest tech as long as it does what I need it to do. The only time I would update any Apple device, or especially with my phone, is if it stops updating, because obviously the software has moved on, and then okay, that's fair enough. This one is my current phone. I bought that online secondhand from a company called Back Market. I think my brother told me about them, and I'll tell you what, I've never had any problems with the phone. The amount of tech that just ends up sitting sitting discarded is just astronomical. Obviously, these devices have come a long way since mobile phones first started, because you know they've become slimmer. You know, you can't have like the usual headphone jack. You've got to use their particular product and all that sort of stuff. And it's just when you get, for example, a new phone, chances are the adapter bit is probably slightly different, so you need to buy new headphones and all that sort of stuff. So think about tech. You know, do you really need to upgrade your phone? If your phone has stopped updating because of the software, then okay, that's fair enough. But you know, to get the new shiniest phones and you know does all of this and that, just, I guess as long as it does what I need it to do, that's all I'm really interested in. I don't know about you, but I have a bad habit of keeping empty jars, like pasta jars, because I think, oh, that'll come in handy. Or you know, jars which had mayonnaise in it or something like that, like the glass ones. And I always like the different shapes because I think, you know what, that'll come in handy for something. And so here's an example of a very, very sad looking Hellman's mayonnaise. Obviously it's not mayonnaise anymore. I've got chia seeds in that. So I've obviously repurposed that. It looks like it used to have bicarb soda on here. Obviously I don't use it for bicarb soda, but I reuse these glass jars wherever I can. So for example, at the moment I'm trying to sell some bits and pieces on Facebook Marketplace, and anything I make, any sales that I make, I put the money into a glass jar. Let me show you. So that is coffee. I'm assuming that's coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I'm not sure, but it looks like it's coffee. And I'll just put the money that I get in there, and just keep it separate. So I'll just reuse the jar. I've got loads of jars. I can't seem to part with them, but I know they'll come in handy for other things and, you know, other bits and pieces. So that saves you from having to buy containers for certain things. There's so many things that we probably already have that we can repurpose, and plus that saves you money as well, and that's always good. Obviously helping the environment is important, but at the moment where we're in a cost of living crisis, you know, saving money is key for so many people. Well, so that's quite a few things that I do. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that I actually do, but I really had to think about doing that list because I do so many things automatically, and it will only sort of come to me sort of like probably when when I'm watching TV and it's like, oh yeah, I'll do this as well. Um, I hopefully some of those ideas you found helpful. This is not to say don't buy anything at all. Okay, nobody wants to live like that. It's about being mindful about your purchases, and does it need to be brand new? Is there something you have that you could repurpose? It's just about just changing your mindset um, ever so slightly, and plus in the long run it will save you money too. When I see people online, when I see influencers just doing massive hauls, um, and I just think that's just such a waste of money, such a waste of resources. It's really, really sad to see. And so many people end up with stuff everywhere. Um, and I don't think there's any need for it. Obviously, if something brings you joy and will continue to bring you joy, get it. If you've got the money, get it. But if you're just buying something just for a dopamine hit, and then about 2 weeks later you're like, yeah, I don't want this anymore. I don't particularly like it anymore. It ends up sitting in your wardrobe for months and months, and then, you know, maybe you donate it. Maybe just think about how you can, some of the things that you do, maybe just pick one thing about when it comes to underconsumption and look at it and say, how can I change this from overconsumption to underconsumption? What can I do? And you might actually be pleasantly surprised, and there's a very good chance you're going to save money too. So that's always a plus. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch up with you soon.